Today I'm going to do a very requested video, and it is my brow routine when I dye my brows. We're gonna get into it. As you can see, I am wearing makeup, so I will take it off and show you how I do my brows. So I do dye my eyebrows. I've been doing it for years, but it also is just for men, just for Jenna. You guys, a lot of you have been seeing Jenna Marbles do this a couple weeks ago, or like a week ago. I do have a couple tutorials on my Instagram, one from like 2 years ago, and then one from like, I don't know, a couple months ago, and then I did one last week. I know I keep doing them, but a lot of you guys wanted me to do an IGTV explaining, so we're gonna do that and exactly what I do. I'm gonna tell you right now what color I get. I recommend to get the beard one because it's a lot easier. This says it eliminates gray, things like that, makes it look fuller and thicker, and that's why I like this about my brows. This is medium brown. I like to match what I've got going on with my natural hair base, and even when I'm blonde, like super blonde like this, I do like a darker brown. Or I'm just taking off my eyebrows. They are kind of stained right now from the Urban Decay Brow Blade because it is like a brow stain. I just recommend that you don't do this with makeup on. It's just going to be a lot easier for you, obviously. I recommend to do it like, I don't know, you could do it at night or in the morning, but yeah, I just recommend to do it in a very dry area and have no makeup on. As you can see, these are my natural brows. They are still kind of dark from the last time I dyed them, like last week. I do this once a week. You guys have been asking me. I do it once a week, and I just love it because I do have transparent brows. As you can see that towards the end of my brow, that is how transparent they are. Towards the middle right here, it's still pretty much dyed. So in the kit, it comes with, I wish this was sponsored, but it's not. With the kit, it comes with a developer and a color. So I recommend do not put the whole tube in here. You don't have to waste it. This will last you like a year or however many times they recommend to throw, like whenever this goes bad. So I put a dot of developer. You want to do equal parts. If you do hair, you understand. You need to do equal parts. And then you do the color base, which is the color, and you do another dot. So just do equal parts of each thing. So what I like to do is I like to use an angle brush, and I will mix that up. You gotta just mix that up. You can see that, I'm mixing it up. Some people like to apply this with a spoolie, but I like to do it with an angled brush. It's a little bit more precise. The very first step that I recommend that you guys do is you use Vaseline around the brow. It's a barrier so you don't dye your skin, because this will dye your skin. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. I'll show you exactly what I do. I have it on a brush. You could put it on a Q-tip, but right now I ran out of Q-tips, so I'm putting it on a brush, and just put right above the brow so it acts as a barrier, and if the dye gets on there, it will not dye your skin because the barrier of that petroleum jelly is there. What I like to do is I like to dye my brows, and then I go in and I shape them and tweeze them. I went ahead and I did the petroleum jelly, or the Vaseline, around the perimeter of where I'm dyeing. If you guys can see how much I put on there, and I'm just gonna slap it on. I love dyeing my brows, so try not to get it everywhere or in your hair. Go with your natural brow shape, or go how you usually do your brows, like your natural brow shape, because it will dye your skin underneath your brows, which I like because it gives me more of a, I don't know, it gives me more of a fuller look when I'm doing my makeup. It's less to fill in, but I do fill them in still. When I go in the front, I feather because you still want that to be dyed in the front. Also, I kind of just work it into the hair and the skin so it does dye the skin. So now I'm going to do the other brow and then let that develop. And at the end, I kind of do like to lay it on thick in the bigger areas, because I just like to have a lot of dye because I have really sparse brows. And I will let this develop for about 5 to 10 minutes until you think it's getting dark enough. You can wait longer. Before you do any of this, I recommend to do a patch test to make sure you are not allergic to the dye. Go ahead and do it right on your in your inner elbow. That's where you can do some patch tests, make sure you're not allergic to the dye, because that would be horrible. We are going to let that sit there for about 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, and I will be back. So it's about 5 minutes later, and as you can see, my brows are really dark, especially with this makeup. It looks like that lady from Shrek that's in the bar. I'm gonna take some makeup remover. What I would do is just take one of these with water, but I just don't have water with me, and I'm gonna wipe it off. And as you can see, it's dark, but I love it because I don't have to fill in my brow too much. So I recommend obviously not to get this near your eye. Just take it off that way. So I'm going to tweeze the little hairs that are underneath my brow. Hopefully I can zoom this in and show you guys where I'm tweezing. I just like to tweeze there because I want a full on like smooth canvas. I find that the hairs underneath my brows are coarser than the ones on top. So obviously I'm going to tweeze there, and I'm also going to shave. So I'm tweezing like the big coarse hairs to really get them at the root. Ooh, man, never gets easier. I like to leave it like that because I don't like to tweeze too far up, because you don't want to tweeze too much of your brows, because sometimes when you do tweeze, brow hair sometimes does not come back. So just make sure you tweeze in the appropriate areas, like the stray hairs and things like that. You could always shave if you want to try a new brow shape. Okay, and a lot of people have been asking me if it comes back fuller. I have not seen that. I don't know. You guys leave down in the comments below if you have coarser hair, if you shaved, if it came back coarser. I can shave my little mustache hairs and peach fuzz and have them come back the same as it was before. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and shave. These are perfect little shavers that I got at Target, but they have ones that are clear, which I recommend the clearer ones because I like the clear ones. And I just shaved to get a really smooth underneath. It's a lot easier to apply makeup that way, and it comes on super smooth. So I kind of just shape the underneath, stay away from the actual natural brow. And I like to do this afterwards because I like to make it look clean. Obviously, I don't ever wear makeup when I do this. So on the top of my brows where I do groom them, I just kind of take the shaver and just move down, inch down, very in short strokes, just inch down, and go to the top of my brow. Try not to go any lower than the top of your brow, because you do not want to make your brows, you don't want to shave off your whole brow. So it is super smooth at that point. I brush up my brow hairs, and if I do need to cut them, I will cut them, but I like to leave my brow hairs longer because I don't have any, so I brush them so it looks more like real hair, so I brush them to the side. So I'm just going to cut them a little bit, not too much. And just keep with your natural brow. Like I just cut off a tiny bit. So that pretty much is done on that side. What I like to do is just frame out the bottom of my brow with some concealer. This is the e.l.f. concealer, and just a little bit, just frame it out. So there's my brows. They don't have anything in them. I'm just filling in my brows where I need to. I literally do not need to, but I like to have it a little bit more feathered right here. With that brow blade, I just put in some hair-like strokes in the beginning and in the tail of my brow because I didn't have hair for the dye to catch onto. So I just recommend to kind of do that as well if you didn't have any like hair for the dye to catch onto. So if you're on the go like I am, I always recommend this to moms because you can just leave the house, have no makeup on, but have your brows done because they're stained basically and dyed. And I just recommend it because it's so easy and you don't have to do your brows every day, especially like me. I don't do my makeup every day, but if I'm just going out the house, girl, I'm telling you, it's a life changer. I don't like the idea of microblading only because it's semi-permanent, but like someone is sticking, and I don't know, I just don't like the idea of it. And plus, like, what if you don't like what your technician does? You're kind of stuck with it for a little bit. So I just like dyeing my brows once a week, super easy, as you guys can see, and I recommend to do a patch test before because some people are allergic to hair dye. So do a patch test on your arm and just kind of let it sit there and see how it goes. Hope you guys like this video. I know you had a lot of questions about it, so hopefully I answered all your questions. And until next time, I will see you guys later.